Hey everyone, Gary from Peacekeeper's Armory again with another build. This is a TGS Gen 2 in Empire Strikes Back configuration built out by Matt Dooley over at East Coast Sabres. And then I did a Proffie board V2.2 with a GOTH 3D Master chassis in brass. So it's actually, as I always tend to say, looking back at my videos, turned out really well. So just to kind of go over some of the finer details, the hilt, I didn't do that, so I don't want to go too much into that, but it's a very nice hilt. TGS is one of my favorites, is my favorite Graphics to install that's not vintage. So Matt did another amazing job with that. As you could probably see, I got some stock pixel pins in there, so those will light up. But let's get onto the inside first. So for this one, it's better for the reveal just to take the grip off while keeping the clamp there. Obviously, it doesn't really matter in the end either way. But in terms of shock value and the reveal, that's what we got right there. So I got the pulsing crystal. So it's got two crystals in there. These are real aqua aura quartz crystals. So I have them pulsing at slightly different times just to kind of keep them a little more fluid. And we got some copper piping that is covering the threaded rods holding the whole thing together, and then some aluminum piping to accent everything. So you can see it looks real nice, super bright. LEDs for the crystals. Those are pixel LEDs, so they will change depending on whatever you want it to do. And then take this all the way off. I put a strip of neopixels underneath here, and I have it doing a Cylon effect in white for the standby mode. And as you can kind of see in there, see if I can get there, you can see the mesh that's kind of covering everything. That turned out really nice as well. And then more aluminum rods for accenting in there. Mesh kind of just hides everything while giving it a nice full look, in my opinion. So these I had to cut to size and then angle a couple of them to get to fit in here. It was a little challenging. This one as well. The spacing back here isn't perfect for it, so I actually had to cut a channel all the way through the back side of it and to make that fit. And then this one was pretty straightforward. So for this, the recharge port, trying to get this to focus, the recharge port and the kill switch is under here. I shaved a little bit of it off, just enough to make it so it's not going to rattle this hatch. So it is a little tough to get open. You do need a good fingernail. If not, a little flathead or a guitar pick will work. So this is the what's it called? This is the plug for it. So 2.1 millimeter recharge plug. The reason lights just turned off is because it went into sleep mode after 5 minutes. And then this is the kill switch. So you just turn that off for when you're not using it, and then it won't be a problem. Turn it back on when you're ready. And you're good to go. Nothing special here. There is a brass cap that I'm going to include that came with this. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get it to fit underneath this hatch. I guess you're supposed to put a spacer underneath where this gets mounted. But first of all, I couldn't thread the nut on there afterwards. There wasn't enough room for it. And then on the inside, to get all the mesh and the LEDs in there, there wasn't enough room for the RCP would bottom out. So that's just how it is. It's hidden most of the time anyway, so it's not a big deal. But I'll include it in there since it came with the chassis, if you want to try and make something work. That's pretty much it for that. And then it snaps shut, and you're good to go. No rattle. For underneath this, you can see the aluminum rods go all the way through here. You see a little bit of wires. I tried to get mesh underneath here, but it didn't look great. There's a lip of plastic right there that was just catching on, and it just looked tacky, so I left it out. This one is really tight on here. I shaved it a little bit, but you won't need to access this hatch much. This is if you're going to change the settings or access the SD card. So for this one, I usually take a small screwdriver and I just pop that right there. If you have really strong nails, then it probably won't be a problem. But so you can see it's a little bit of a far axis in there. I have one of the standard L-shaped, so L-shaped connectors, and it fits in there perfect. So if you're just making a quick settings change, no big deal. If you do want to access the SD card, I do recommend taking the chassis out. That's the only time you really need to take the chassis out, is if you're going to access the SD card. Otherwise, just leave it in here. You don't need to worry about taking it out, because everything's accessible SD card or board-wise through here. And obviously the power and everything's down here, so you don't need to take it out. But for this demo, I will. So that snaps in there really good. No rattling. The other rattle is this. So let's see. So the way this chassis is supported is, or I'm sorry, retained, is with this button right here. So you usually take this out, then you loosen the whole thing. So if you are going to take this all the way out, then you want to loosen this as well. It shouldn't rub, but it might. Oops. Sorry, I hit the auxiliary button. So you want to loosen that so it doesn't clip on the switch in there. So then you can take the whole thing out. And then you got that. So you got the plastic switch covers, the board cover right here, and then auxiliary switch and the main activation switch right there. So this just comes off, and then if you need to get to the 2 buttons right there, you can for force boot. Otherwise, you can leave all this on and not worry about it. Again, you only really need to take this off or take it all the way out like this if you need to access that or the SD card for any reason. For the bottom button, that piece for the owner that I showed you for the blade retention, the smaller lip will go inside this little ring, and then you can just glue it on, and then it'll stick out, like this much or whatever. And then when you tighten the button, it'll push up against the blade and keep it retained. It's not the best. It's not going to be like a set screw. It is pressure fit as opposed to, the small metal screw pushing into the blade. But it will keep the blade secure enough for display and swinging it around for fun. So I'm going to mute this, or at least try to. There we go. So double click for mute. That works. So you can see it kind of does everything that this is in series. So it's the first 5 LEDs will be the first 5 of your blade. So that this won't do anything. You can reprogram it differently if you want, or have me do that, but right now it's set for that. And as you can see, this kind of got a little bit faster, so now it's going in a circle around. It's more like a half circle. There's 5 LEDs, and it just kind of loops back around. When you do lockup, then it goes hard red, kind of like it's overloading the system, and then blaster blocks or clashes will be an orange amber flash. So it's kind of my typical go-to for Graflexes. I really like that design. Actually, not even just Graflexes, anything with accent LEDs like that. So turn this off. So it has the 5 fonts on it you requested, as well as
I'm never touching that thing again.
the root core font.
Inside me.
Saber's ready.
So for this one, it does essentially the same thing. However, being a calibration style font, I changed this to be battery level indicator. So now this is in Cylon mode, and it's indicating what the level the battery is currently at. So it goes from blue to green to yellow, orange, and then red for the final. So blue is like you just got it off the charger. That's the only time you're really going to see blue. And then it kind of goes down from there as you use it. So that's just to kind of let you know. And let's say you're on your Empire Strikes Back font.
But you are not a Jedi yet.
So if you're on your Empire Strikes Back font, which is kind of the main one, as this is an ESP saber, you don't have to cycle all the way through to do that. If you hold auxiliary and hit the power button,
Weapon is armed.
then it'll go backwards, and then you can go straight to that to check that real quick. And then for fun, you can turn it on, and it goes into that mode, but I added a different lockup, kind of different colors, and that turned out really nice. So that is it.
Force is with you, young
This does have, I'm gonna display out.
But you are not a Jedi yet.
This does have color change. So you point down, you point the blade down, you hold the power button and twist it. If you get it right. Nope, see that's playing underneath it. until you get that beep, and then when you rotate it, it will change the color for your color wheel. Now, being as most of these were movie fonts, you know, like Kylo Ren, Rey, or what have you, this will not save the color once you change fonts. So, you know, if you put it to, let's say this is kind of like a purple, and then you can just hold the power button to save that for the time being. If you turn it on, off and on, it's going to keep that color, but if you switch fonts, it's going to go back to the original color. That way,
But you are not a Jedi yet.
that way I prefer, because you know, it's at a very specific color right now. It's my personal color I chose for Empire Strikes Back, or what's the other one? The Last Jedi as well. It's a light kind of cayenne blue or cyan blue. That way you don't have to try and adjust it to get that exact color again if you save it to a weird color because you're having fun. So that's how I do that, and that's pretty much it for the how-to. I can send you, I'll send the owner a text file that shows you what all the buttons do for how to activate everything. If you hold and release the power button, it's going to play a track. Each one has a separate one. The two Empire Strikes Back ones, Vader and Luke, are for the Bespin duel, and then the Rey has the training scene because it's for the Last Jedi. The Force Awakens one just has the Rey theme and then the Kylo theme as well. So, yep, this brass chassis turned out really nice. I'm glad that I was able to get this done this way, and the two crystals do look really nice, though I do prefer a single crystal, but I'm not upset about that. So, just to kind of show you, you want to align the top button with the top switch with that top red button, and you're gonna have to shimmy it in there a little bit because there are a couple lips on here that the lever, or not the levers, but the spring tabs like to catch on, and then slowly put that guy into place. Make sure this is all lined up, and then do that. So I do have the springy tab. This is the original pin that was in here, and then you'll have your shine through right there. Again, it's kind of fall in and out of here until that blade retention piece, you get that in there. Always be careful when you put this on. And actually, to backtrack a little bit, so I put the glue on this side, on the inside, so that you can see it'll still clamp closed perfectly, and then it's not going to fall out while it's doing that. So be careful when you do this. There are tabs on the inside. You don't want to scratch the crap out of the chassis. So carefully put this guy on. And the best way to line it up is the top, or these holes right there, right with the center. And then you can put this guy on so that the D-ring will be opposite of the clamp card. That video I sent to the owner earlier, it was really awesome how I had it displayed. You get one of those Graflex stands, and then just displaying it like this looks really nice on a shelf. So that's kind of how I like it. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'll get this guy shipped out to you real soon. I have another one of these commissions to do now. It's going to look pretty much like this. Maybe some slight changes depending on the client. And then I have a Creepy Uncle build, which I just almost finished up, as well as a few more wiring jobs on the way. So I'll see you guys on the next video at Peacekeeper's Armory. Have a good one.